earnings preview on IBM. It is right now 12:34. 26 minutes from now, they're going to report its earnings. And one of the things that we would like to highlight about the earnings and how to gauge what's in the actual earnings, there are mechanical processes to earnings. Down here, when we had that long correction, IBM was a great buy right above the 162 area. And we already have the call. We're going to be doing calls and we're going to be doing puts, but we'll do it after the report comes out. What I would like to point out very clearly here, that IBM has ran anticipation of a good earnings report. This particular high bar that got set in was at 96%. I mean, give me a break. So what we can see is that it's ran much higher and has broke out going into these earnings report. Since we've had that pullback here, we made a low today of 173.58 and a high of 177. We came up below that 177 area. That would have been a major resistance area, and we topped out at 176.46. And you can clearly see that the blue line is a 10-day simple moving average. So when you take a look at how the stock has ran into the earnings report, that means that Big Blue's got to deliver that quarter. If Big Blue does not deliver that quarter, that means that this whole rally would be at stake, and you could literally see the stock tank if they don't deliver the bottom line and the top line growth. The other thing that IBM is going to tell us is where IT spending is in corporations. Okay, has it slowed down? Well, it's going to be in their report. What we look at is we look at the U.S. environment, the U.S. earnings environment, and the U.S. IT CapEx spending environment. Then we also take a look at what we call international earnings and international IT spending, and where has IBM zeroed in, and where is the majority of the profits? Are they in the U.S. or are they international? So as we deal with IBM, we can clearly see that IBM right now is running higher. We already gave the numbers out. The 52-week high was 177.77. Now, on a good number, we could gap and make a 52-week high. However, I will have to be selling into the strength because we would be at an extremely overbought process that people don't understand when, where, and why to actually exit a trade or an investment, whatever they're doing. I'm talking about for myself. What will I be doing? If we get that gap up to the 52-week high, well, then I would be selling into it. So we will hear what they have to say. We'll be looking at those revenue structures. We'll be looking at where the bulk of those earnings came from and what their guidances are and why their guidances are the same way. And most importantly is forward-looking is what does IBM got to say about forward-looking. So as we get into the fall, and are they going to give guidance going out to 2012? So what are they going to say the environment would look like? Are they going to talk about a slower environment in the last 90 days? Because we've had slower periods economically, as we understand. But even if we did here in the U.S., how did IBM offset that? By making international revenues and ringing the cash register and bringing in that bottom line and that top line revenue growth. Stand still. This is just a preview. There's lots of analysts out there that have got a lot of different things about it. Hey, fundamentally, it's great. However, in a shorter term process only, is where am I at? How far have I ran? How far has the stock ran going into the report? It made a 52-week high going into its earnings report. And IBM is heavily owned by institutions because IBM has been around a long time. And we'll see in after hours. But MMTs, this video is for you, and it's for you to go back once again. And after we go through the earnings here in about 20 more minutes and we see the knee jerk and we go through all of that, you're going to have this preview so that when you do listen to the conference call together, you'll be listening for the analyst Q&A session. And I have already told you what you want to hear. They're going to ask about where these different growth channels are and where their yield is coming from relative to their product cycles, revenue cycles, and the various different things. Are very diversified in what they do in collecting revenues. One that I'm going to be very interested in is that reoccurring revenue, licensing revenue, called licensing revenue. Has licensing revenue increased? Because if it does, then it's going to push up that top line and that bottom line growth. That's what I want to know. That's one of the major things. I want to know several of them. We'll talk more about it after the video is over. I conclude. IBM.